Take a ride with me. Even though it may feel routine, driving is one of the most dangerous activities that we willingly participate in as it is. And throwing ADHD into the mix, that just complicates things even more. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the ways ADHD could be grinding your gears, and more importantly, give you some ways that you can stay in control and not end up another statistic. Coming up. Hi, I'm Daniel, and this is Journey to Wellness. And here on this channel, I like to bring awareness to ADHD in adulthood and show people what it's truly like to have it. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on one of my weekly videos. Now let's jump into today's video. Did you know that a staggering 1.3 million people lose their lives each year in car accidents around the world? In the US alone, the death toll from traffic accidents is somewhere in the neighborhood of 36,000 per year, making it one of the leading causes of death. 31% of those accidents were caused by alcohol, and 29% of them were caused by speeding. All right, we get it. Car accidents are bad. So what does this have to do with ADHD? Well, as an ADHDer who's a professional truck driver with not only a Class A commercial driver's license, but a clean record as well, I was shocked to discover that having ADHD makes you 2 to 4 times more likely to have an accident. And in said accidents, we're up to 4 times as likely to be at fault for them. And if we are involved in an accident, we're 3 times more likely to sustain injuries. And if we aren't actually injured or killed, we're far more likely to receive citations for traffic violations. This not only puts us at risk for paying through the nose for insurance, but it also means that we're 6 to 8 times more likely to have our license suspended altogether. And speaking of insurance, in some parts of the world, including the UK, insurance rates are automatically higher if you're diagnosed with ADHD. Now that's just not fair. Now, from the sound of it, you'd think that we're the worst drivers in the world. So why is that? Why are the statistics so skewed against us? Are we really that bad of drivers? Well, when you think about it, there are quite a few ADHD symptoms that may cause a hindrance while you're driving. Probably the biggest and most obvious one would be distractibility. Distracted driving is one of, if not the leading cause of accidents, and we're known for being easily distracted. Whether it be the radio, our phone, our own thoughts, or the other accident on the other side of the road. Hell, we may just check out for a while. It's kind of easy for us to lose focus, if only for a moment, but a lot of times that's all it takes. Another factor is impulsivity. This can take many forms. Impulsive decision making is probably the leading reason why we speed or make aggressive maneuvers like cutting somebody off and just generally taking more unnecessary risks when behind the wheel. Just picture this. You're distracted by your own thoughts while cruising down the highway, but then you realize, oh shit, that's my exit. Problem is, you're in the fast lane and there's 3 lanes of traffic separating you and your soon approaching exit. So what do? Impulsively cut across all 3 lanes of traffic, of course, and barely making the exit by crossing over that little triangle, that little dead zone, where the road splits away from the exit, and unknowingly almost hitting 2 cars in the process. Now I know you've seen that person before. I know I have. And all that goes through my head is, what were they thinking? But that's the problem. They weren't. They were acting on sheer impulse. and put not only their life, but the lives of others at risk. Now, kind of a mixture of impulsivity and emotional regulation is road rage. Road rage can be a problem for us as we have a hard time regulating our emotions. I know that for me personally, this is where driving tends to get the best of me. All it takes is for one idiot to do something stupid and my blood pressure is up. And I explosively cuss out that person in my cab. Can you relate? Tell me in the comments if you get easily pissed off behind the wheel. Just comment road rage if you do. Now, if you mix road rage with impulsivity, that's looking to be a recipe for disaster, as these are probably the people that would actively try and hurt you through some kind of physical altercation. Intoxication can also come into play, as us ADHDers tend to have an addictive personality and we have a ridiculously high rate of substance abuse, particularly alcohol. And like I mentioned before, in the US, 31% of the fatal accidents, alcohol was involved. So don't drink and drive, kids. Now, when you have someone that's impulsive and doesn't think things through all the way, it's easy to think, oh, I'm just going to go out and have a couple of drinks with some friends and not have the foresight to either take an Uber or just at least leave your car at home. Other factors may be a lot more innocent. Things like driving your friends around could be a lot more distracting than you might think, especially if your friends are urging you to drive faster or they're being backseat drivers. Depending on experience level, we may not possess the best vehicle control skills. If you think to yourself, I'm a good driver, just keep in mind that us ADHDers tend to overestimate our abilities. And yes, this includes driving skills. I'd suggest letting your driving record speak for itself. Now, you ready for some good news? Because it's not all doom and gloom out on the road. There are a good deal of us that don't have any problems with driving and are genuinely good drivers. For some of us, myself included, being behind the wheel is our natural habitat, and we may find driving to be relaxing and a place to clear our mind. For some of us, the thrill of driving fast releases that dopamine that our brain so desperately craves. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the best race car drivers also have ADHD. Some more good news is that these statistics do a dramatic turnaround for those of us that are medicated. An interesting study showed that methylphenidate products such as Ritalin or Concerta, they had the best effect on people's driving capabilities, practically normalizing the participants in the study. The only thing that you do need to be concerned about when driving on medication is keep in mind the duration of effectiveness. How long does the medication last for you? Studies did show that as the medication wore off, driving skills got worse and worse. In fact, there can be a phenomenon called the rebound effect. This is where when your medication wears off, you don't just go down to your baseline, but you actually perform worse than you did without medication. And something else to keep in mind is that most fatal accidents happen in the later evening, starting at about 8 p.m. So keep in mind that if you are going to be out late, chances are your medication's going to be worn off, and you should take extra precaution while behind the wheel. Some more good news? Several studies have shown that driving skills dramatically improve with age and experience. So even with ADHD, the older you get and the more experience you have, the better driver you should start to become. So if you've made it this far without any major mishaps, chances are you're likely to continue your good driving streak. Unless, of course, you've just been lucky this whole time and haven't gotten caught yet. Well, I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes and the sun has gone, so like this video if you like it, subscribe for more, and until next time, take care of yourself and be well.